Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. We continue, of course, to bring you more around the story whereby driver and passenger safety has become a concern as criminals infiltrate the e-hailing industry. Numerous incidents have been reported where victims were allegedly robbed and assaulted, even killed, allegedly by criminals pretending to be drivers or passengers. To talk to us more about this, we're joined by crime expert Andy Mashaile. A very good evening to you, Mr. Mashaile. Thank you for your time. There's been a concerning increase in robberies targeting e-hailing drivers and passengers, of course raising significant concerns about safety and security. What is your take on this?
Paul, good evening to you and to your beautiful viewers. Yes, this is a serious concern. I have observed this in the last 3 years in El Dorado Park, in the areas of Soweto, around Soweto, Muhlake, Kagiso, and Beckersdale, where I was born and bred. It is a serious problem in that criminals have found it an easier and lucrative way of robbing passengers. 1, 2, also of killing the e-hailing drivers. It is alleged that some of the people in the taxi industries would go to an extent of hiring criminals to intimidate, as we have seen in the last 2 years or so, e-hailing drivers being killed. So it is a serious concern, and law enforcement, as well as communities, as well as taxi associations and e-hailing associations, need to come together to prevent the loss of life and limb, both of the drivers and the passengers.
Yeah, absolutely. With the e-hailing drivers becoming primary targets for violent crimes, that in itself creates a very dangerous and unsustainable situation. It's a growing threat that needs to be addressed comprehensively and effectively so. What will it take?
One of those things that it would take is for government, 1, to create a conducive atmosphere between your e-hailing drivers and your conventional taxiing system. You and I know that there are serious challenges in the minibus taxi industry, and compounded also by the arrival of the e-hailing system, and that violent reaction by the mini taxi industry prescribes that government must come to the table, bring the two associations or the two business models, for them to be able to have common ground that allows routes, that allows operation in the same breath, and not limiting the pie for all of those who are participating in this industry.
In the interim, as we look to some of the solutions and, of course, see this growing trend of this method of crime, there are commuters, and as well as drivers' lives at risk. What sort of measures are needed to ensure that drivers and passengers are safe? What sort of tips can you give?
How simple? This is high time that we use technology, not only in the law enforcement space, your cybercrime space, and many of these spaces. This is the time that we use artificial intelligence in the applications that people use to hail taxis in this space, whereby where you would use your artificial intelligence applications to find out who is calling me out at night, who purports to be wanting to move from point A to point B. Artificial intelligence will then be able to, through its algorithms, will then be able to identify who the caller is, and whether this is a record number or and not a record number. This is an identifiable number with a person behind, a real person behind, who that particular person is. It will help a great deal in saving the lives of the drivers and the owners of the e-hailing cabs. Technology, Mpho, is the game neutralizer or the equalizer in that space.
Absolutely.
Without technology, it is impossible for police or private security companies to be at the beck and call of all the e-hailing cabs for safety and security. So in this space, you would need to use your dash cams, you would need to use your e-tags. For those who are using e-tags, using iOS, there are also e-tags that you throw in the car, wherever there is a Wi-Fi, when that car drives past a Wi-Fi spot, it would be able to identify itself back to the numbers of the people that you have loaded to be the people who are your guardian angels from a digital platform point of view.
Absolutely, some sound tips there. Thank you so much for speaking to us this evening. And Dr. Mashaile, speaking there, crime expert Andy Mashaile, giving us some tips, of course, as driver and passenger safety has come under the spotlight with criminals infiltrating the e-hailing industry.